Hello, Derek. How are you?
Good. How you doing, Aaron?
Good. Long time no talk. I like your collection
Yes.
there in the background. What's is that a collection or is that books?
Those are
I'm
books. A lot of film books at the bottom, but yeah. It's all.
okay. Well, technically that is a collection. I'm just
Yeah.
my eyes gravitate towards
No, I
box
know
sets
the
and
Blu-rays are in their own special section out in the living room. So
nice, nice. Well, Derek, thanks for joining me. So we're last week, Jill and I recorded a review or reaction, I guess. A reaction. I don't like reaction videos. Well, I do like them, but I don't want to do them exactly. But we reviewed, I guess, or we visited the Variety Top 100 horror films of all time,
yeah,
and we actually mentioned Slant magazine, and I think I mentioned you without being specific. I don't know if you heard yourself.
I didn't get to that point yet, but I'll get to it
Uh,
tomorrow.
um, okay, yeah. Well, basically, I just talked about how you have bylines. So
Mhm.
and then what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about your slant list from 2018 that was recently updated for 2020 as of 2023. Do you want to talk about that real quick? Just
Yeah,
what we're
so
gonna.
it's the best horror films of the 21st century. So yeah, I think we originally did the list in 2018. This is the first time it's been updated. So there, plenty of great new horror films in the last 5 years or whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun. I think it's a nice list in sort of getting the under the radar films, maybe some controversial picks, but still getting the bona fide classics are still tucked away in there.
So wait a minute. People complain about lists. Is this a
No,
new
no,
thing?
no one would
Oh,
ever
okay.
complain. They're gonna
Yeah.
say this is the definitive list, no complaints, 1 through
Mhm.
100. It's all good, just in the
Well, it's
right
funny.
order.
I'm gonna say, okay, I respect you. Yeah, I'm talking to one of the writers here. Respect it. I know that
Yeah,
it's an
yeah,
imperfect system the way you put these
yeah,
together, but
yeah.
I'm gonna say, oh, this is too low. Oh, I'm like, what are you? In like an hour, we're gonna be fighting.
I
No,
mean,
no,
even
not
even
really.
I even when I looked at the list earlier today, just to jog my memory, I'm like, oh yeah, that shouldn't be on the list. Oh, that one's even I'm complaining about it, and I'm
Right, right.
took part in it. So
Yeah, Slant might give you the boot.
yeah,
So
yeah,
no, not really. We'll be friendly, but yeah. Before we start, so this is on CineJourneys. So do you
yeah.
want to share something, something?
I'm guessing you're talking about the Japanese New Wave, perhaps. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
next year I'm hoping, or I'm going to, be teaching a Japanese New Wave class through CineJourney. So hopefully starting somewhere in February, but we'll play that by ear, depending on what the next couple months have in store for us. Dot dot dot. Um,
Exactly.
so yeah. I mean, I think I've been reading several books about it, kind of doing research, cobbling all that together. There's just a lot to talk about. It's one of those things that, and I'm sure you get this with the French New Wave too, where the more you dig into it, the more that you find there. But I really feel like the Japanese New Wave is much more untapped than the French New Wave. I mean, not I love Godard, I love Truffaut, like I love the French New Wave in general, but
Sure. Yeah.
I do feel like the Japanese New Wave kind of gets a short shrift compared to some of those other new waves. Um, aside from the major directors, like Oshima certainly gets
Mhm.
a lot of love. But it's just the more research I did, it's just fascinating all of the cultural things that led to the movement and everything. There's so many reasons for why these films came out as they did. So yeah, I think it'll be a fun class. There's some films that are just absolutely a blast to watch. The
Yeah,
Seijun Suzuki's are so much fun.
they are.
And then some of the late 60s were the a little more political ones. It can
Mhm.
be a little bit more on the Godard side of like, okay, you really have to think of the time period, the cultural context. But even they're so sort of stylistically experimental. I think they're still interesting to watch. But yeah, so
Yeah, and if you think about it, so yeah, I could do like 36 weeks of French New Wave and still not
sure,
have covered like just basically the tip of the iceberg.
yeah,
But if you think about it, the Japanese New Wave was concurrent with the French New Wave, so they were
yeah.
certainly influenced. But and I'm sure you'll hit on that. So
Oh, sure.
yeah,
I mean, everybody compares, Oshima to Godard, and
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Oshima, revered Godard, but it was mostly just in terms of like the fact that he highlighted a
mhm,
lot of political aspects. It wasn't, it
Yeah.
didn't go too much beyond that in terms of like the influence. So, but yeah, you can definitely see, okay, that he definitely got some of the style from Godard. Yeah.
Can I give a hot take before
Yeah.
Oshima? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
probably
I'll have to
either
check
side.
on, I'll have to check it before the class. Yeah. To make sure I'm saying it right. Yeah.
It's way better than Godard, in my opinion. So, yeah,
I,
a lot of people disagree. Some might, but the thing is, some of his deep cuts are amazing. So,
yeah. I mean, I know you mentioned, Violence at Noon, which I think is a great
mhm,
film. I don't think I'll include that in the class. Um, for various reasons, there's definitely plenty of trigger warnings or content warnings for
definitely,
for
yeah,
that
a lot of
film, but
those things.
it's a fascinating, just beautifully shot film. I mean, the way that film is edited is just kind of like, you know,
Hmm.
a masterclass on its own. So, yeah, I would have no problem saying somebody prefers Oshima. I mean, I think there's a reason why he's considered the big director of that movement. And I think he just has so many
Hmm.
fascinating films. I think I have 3 on the syllabus right now, but I feel like you could just do a whole class and just
Yeah.
go from the 60s into the 70s with him and have plenty to talk about. So,
Yeah, I think of him. Of course, you mentioned Suzuki, also Imamura, uh,
yes.
a big
Yeah,
one.
Imamura is a big one too. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm really excited. I don't know if I physically have a lot of time in February,
Yeah.
but I'm obviously it's on my platform, so it's on our platform, so I'll be exposed to plenty of it whether I want to or not. So
Sure.
looking
Sure.
forward to it.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, people might be wondering, hey, what's taking you so long to announce guides? What are you waiting on? The answer is November 5th, 2024. That's the line drawn in the sand, or not even drawn. That's etched in concrete. We are not doing really much of anything um, until after that day, and maybe like a week or two after. Once the country has like settled, then we'll
Yeah.
get back to normal,
Let
and then we'll
everybody kind
enjoy.
of catch their breath and,
Exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
we'll start. We'll watch Honora. We'll watch the Conclave or
Yeah.
Conclave and the Brutalist, and move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but anyway, so we have a list of 100. So again, I have not seen this list in a number of years, so I don't remember a thing.
Yeah.
Look at a lot of lists. Oops,
Yeah.
it's asking me to share a video file. No, I do not want to do that. I'm going to share this. And nice Amazon ad. Just in stylish gifts for him. We are not getting paid for this. So
There you go. Yeah.
people
Adidas is
might
not
be
your sponsor.
they are not. So people might be logging out right now. But I'm just going to scroll through just like I did for the other one,
Yeah. Yeah.
and just read out the titles as we go. And Derek, just jump in and let's react to
Sure.
them. You
Yeah.
ready?
Let's go. Let's go.
And I'll be watching the timer to see see how much time we have left.
Yeah.
So we're at
Yeah.
8 minutes. So we have like 52.
All
So
right.
the lighthouse. Oh, you don't have the directors you mentioned in the synopsis, but
Robert Eggers. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, number 100, the lighthouse. Actually, I'm already the first one. It feels a little low, but also is it? I guess it's a horror. Yeah, that's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. I agree. I could see that one being higher. Although I almost like it more for its comedy than for the horror parts. But I think it's a great
Oh yeah,
film. Yeah.
I have a shirt. You like my lobster? Do you?
Oh yeah,
It's a
yeah.
big.
Oh yeah, that scene is great. Yeah,
It is, yeah. If it were out today or out this year, it would be nominated for the Golden Globes, like the Substance,
yeah,
because that
yeah.
is totally a comedy. So
Hmm.
99 is the Hounds of, well, not the, I'm thinking Kate Bush. It's
Yeah.
Hounds of Love from 2016. So there are going to be films I haven't seen. So this is the first. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. This one's an Australian film. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's a very good, very. I would say maybe a little bit more of a thriller than a pure horror. But
Mm,
I think it does have, it's a film about a kidnapping, so it sort of builds its suspense nicely. Very high
nice.
tension. So yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Oh, you meant High Tension, literally, not the French
Oh,
movie.
sorry, not the high tension, the French film. Yeah,
Out tension, and you wrote
yeah,
the
yeah,
synopsis here, so yeah, again, that's
yeah.
cool, that we know who is, championing certain films. Steph
Yep.
Curry, I'm, thinking that's probably no relation to the basketball player?
Not
No?
Stephen Curry, not Steph Curry. Yeah, although
Okay,
he is acting now, but not back in 2016. I don't believe.
right, right. I'm sure this guy has a really nice jump shot, though, but,
Yeah, yeah.
anyway, okay, another one I haven't seen, 98 is MFA from 2017.
Yeah, this is one that it was not on my radar. So yeah, this is one I'll have to check out. So
Okay. So yeah, there'll be some that we haven't seen. So
yeah.
Natalia late. I'm not sure. Yeah, there's probably gonna be a lot I haven't, especially on the early of
Yeah, the
the
early side, it starts
lower.
to become a little more common, I think, about number 80. So,
That makes sense.
um, yeah, Good
97.
Woman is hard to find. Yeah, I believe I did see this one when it came out. I think with Sarah Bolger. I remember it has some sort of fun bloody scenes, but I don't remember it being particularly memorable. So 97,
Yeah.
I guess, is a proper. If it's going to be on there at the bottom, sounds good.
That makes sense, yeah. So I can't talk, so I'll move on to the next one. So the next one is XX, number 96. It came out in 2017. Four shorts, four short films, that is, not shorts is
Yes.
included.
Yeah,
So,
this one I haven't seen, but it is interesting that yeah, all the shorts were directed by women, including Karen Kusama, who's
yeah,
done some good stuff. So yeah, that's another one that I'll have to check out.
no relation to Saint Vincent
To
and
St.
Clair.
Vincent, yeah, I saw that too.
So 95, Nightmare Cinema, another 2018, another one
Yeah,
you
this
wouldn't
is
have known.
this is another
Anthology.
anthology film. I'm somewhat allergic to anthology films unless they
Same.
have a good reputation. I haven't actually even seen either of the. Well, I think there's probably more than two now. There's the VHS series. I know there's some
Oh,
horror
right. There's
anthologies.
three
I
of
haven't seen this. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against seeing it, but yeah, I tend not to gravitate towards those. So
Yeah, me too. But sometimes they're good. Creepshow is a classic, even though
I
it
love
wasn't.
Creepshow. Yes,
Yeah,
Creepshow's great. Yeah,
but not in this century. So,
yeah.
The Dark and the Wicked is at 94. That's from 2020. Another one I haven't seen. So,
Yeah, this one's kind of I have seen this one and I like it. It's definitely in the sort of folk horror
mm,
vein. And I believe it's directed by Brian Bertino. He did the original The Strangers film from I think
oh,
the
cool.
late 2000s, which I think is a very good thriller. So this is definitely more on the folk horror end, but people who like that genre, it's worth checking out as a really strong atmosphere. So
I'll tell you what, if I were a director, I would wish I had made a folk horror film 5 years
yeah,
ago,
I know,
4 years
right?
ago. So, okay, here we're getting to some familiar fare. And by the way, the last few have been written by Bowen. So this has
Yeah.
been Flanagan. So 93, The Invisible Man, 2020, Lee
Yeah.
Winnell, who I actually met very
Oh,
early
really?
in the year. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I not the story to get into now, but just briefly, him and James Wan I did a press screening for Saw when it came
Oh,
out,
okay. Yeah.
and it was like a couple weeks before they like just became super famous, and so we hung out at a bar, and they were just normal
Oh, wow. Yeah.
people. I mean, normal people that like to drink. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not accusing them. I mean, they were just like me at 22 or whatever they were at that point. But
Sure.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's obviously both of them had quite a career in this
Yeah.
genre.
Big
In
careers.
fact,
Yeah.
we'll probably see more from them. I think
I
so.
would think so. Yeah. Yeah. But
Um,
yeah, I like the Invisible Man. I think it was an interesting.
mhm.
It's from 2020, so it's still very much in that boom of like
Yeah,
me too cinema, which
yeah.
it has kind of been starting to wind down. But I think it was one of the better of the Me Too horror of that era. So
I just remember it from the pandemic because it was one of
oh,
those first
that's right.
movies that like, "Ooh, how are we gonna distribute this?"
How are we
And
going
that
to distribute it? Yeah.
basically, like, just everybody saw it because
Yeah.
everybody could get it. So I
Could
don't
get it. Yeah.
remember the means, but, they found a
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 92 is Alone, another 2020. So I haven't
Yes.
seen that, but John Hyams.
Yeah, John Hyams. It's good. I mean, it's kind of what John Hyams does great. It's a lean 85 90 minutes. Another kidnapping film, really beautifully directed. Kind of a very meat and potatoes horror film, but very well done. So yeah,
Meat and potatoes, I
yeah,
like that. So, okay, of course, we know this one. 91 is Crimson Peak,
yep,
from 2015, from the inimitable
yeah.
GDT, Guillermo del Toro. Let's see, did you write that? No, Jake Cole wrote this one, but I'm sure you
Yeah.
have opinions.
Yeah, I mean, I like Crimson Peak. It's not one of my favorite of
Mhm.
GDTs, but it kind of his eye for set design and production design. I mean, other than Pan's Labyrinth, I would say this film kind of highlights that more than any of them. It's a beautiful film to look at. So
Yeah, I'm a little. I feel it's a little detached to me, like,
it
and
is. Yeah,
that's
that's kind of my feeling for that and Shape of Water. I kind of had similar feelings to.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
I think that's one of the fair critiques, and I wonder if he might agree to that. But
yeah,
still,
yeah,
yeah, even Nightmare Alley, I love that, but it's
yeah,
almost too sometimes, you know.
yeah.
So okay, well here we go. 1990. Good. Oh, James Wan. You
James Wan.
better
Oh
call
yeah,
Jeff
I'll have
or
to
Dave for
submit that. Yeah,
James
that
James
fits there.
Wan. I did
Yeah,
not meet
James
James
Wan.
Wan. I met James Wan.
James Wan.
So Insidious 2016, big film. So
Yeah,
Ed wrote this. Ed is the
yeah.
editor too, isn't he?
Yeah. He does the film and Blu-ray sections. So yeah,
Okay, well we'll have to say Ed, edit your
I know.
edit
Check your.
Ed parentheses it
Yeah, yeah,
Gonzalez. Just mess with the Ed.
yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen this. 89 Elizabeth Harvest from
That's another
2018.
one. Yeah, I have not seen. I don't recognize the director. I recognize Kieran Hines.
Of
He
course, yeah,
is usually always great. So
he really is. Yeah,
yeah,
and
he's one of those guys where I'm always happy to see him pop up. So and
same.
I'm thinking, I'm like, I can't think of him being in a horror film, but he seems kind of perfect for it. So
Yeah, actually,
like
I
he
agree.
can have a very menacing personality, but I feel like he tends to do more dramas than anything else. So
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah,
period pieces too.
yeah,
Bowen is got some deep cuts coming out.
yeah,
So again, this list originally came out at 2018, so a lot of these are revisions. So that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
I'd be curious. I don't know if that'll be at the end. We'll see what actually fell off the list from.
yeah,
So
yeah,
M Night Shyamalan. I can never
yeah.
say that. It's been
Yeah.
20 years, 30 years almost. They came back 2004, which I haven't seen. I was kind
Well,
of
I
done
guess
with.
it's Robin Campillo. I think he was just comparing it to
I see. Unlike
not
okay,
sort of against The Sixth Sense. But yeah, Robin
gotcha.
Campillo, he did, I know a few years ago he did a really great film called BPM, Beats Per Minute. He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
French director. So that's kind of what I know him from, which wouldn't lead me to necessarily think he would make a great horror film, but you never know. So
yeah. It's a really good queer film, if I remember.
yeah, yeah, it
That
was. Yeah.
had some festival buzz, but
Yeah,
okay, yeah,
I think it was set in like the AIDS era, like early 90s. So yeah.
right. So
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah,
here
don't have
my
much to
my
say about
football.
this one, but yeah.
Same, but definitely not M Night. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
So rare exports, A Christmas Tale. Okay, interesting. I haven't seen this either. So
Yeah. This is one I don't know, but I mean, if it harkens back to John Carpenter's The Thing,
mhm.
I'm game for that. Anything that can
Ooh,
even be
yes.
remotely compared to The Thing is yeah.
Speaking of which, I guess The Substance will not make the cut because it's too late. So
Yeah.
which
Yeah, I
is
don't think there's
definitely
anything from this year yet. So
so The Monsters at number 86. So we're actually making pretty good time to this.
yeah, yeah.
That's 2016. I haven't seen this either. So and again, Brian Bertino.
Yeah, this is another one I haven't seen, but yeah, like I said, I really like The Strangers, so I'll have to add this one to the watch list. So
Well, if you didn't 20, well, I guess 2018 it must have been on
I
the
know,
list
right?
in 2018. We try to watch all of them. There's just so
Yeah,
many.
yeah, I know there are.
So this is
Cam,
Cam. Yeah.
what I remember about this movie is it was the first film that really dealt with deep fakes
Hmm.
and kind of using it for in like the horror aspect of like basically a cam girl. Somebody essentially steals her identity and uses her, her face. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting that 6 years ago, I feel like there's still not a lot of films that have kind of tapped into that, and I think it's only going to become a more and more big problem, especially with our political
Yeah.
climate. So yeah, it was
Hmm.
a little bit ahead of the curve. So
Yeah.
yeah, good film.
I
Yeah,
I don't have the the timeline of films like this that talk about social media,
no, yeah,
but it kind of seems like maybe it's ahead of its time. So yeah,
yeah, yeah.
that's cool. Okay, well this one number 84, The House That Jack Built,
Too low,
2018.
right?
So I have PTSD not because of the film, which is unusual for people to say, but
Yeah,
because I'm an admin of a Criterion group, and this isn't on Criterion, but I remember there was a flood of people wanting to post about the house that Jack built, and
yeah,
of course, Las Ventura is a staple of the collection, but when
yeah,
you get 40 posts. And most people haven't seen it. It was like, okay, we get it.
Yeah,
And
let's also, I mean, it's kind of tired to be like, oh, this should be on the Criterion Collection. This should be. It's like,
right,
yeah,
right,
they have like 4 or 5, maybe 6 movies a month they can put on.
right.
Your favorites aren't always gonna, get on right away. So I really like the film. I think it's I would almost say it's more of a dark comedy than a horror, but there's
Hmm.
certainly plenty of horror elements to it. So I like it a lot, but I can understand why it would turn people off, because it's
Mhm.
it rubs your face kind of in the mud a bit. So
Yeah, I would say this is the film that if you have to go to the website, "Did the dog die?" to find out of trigger warnings, just don't even bother. Just
don't even hit play. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so I did I thought it was okay. Again, kind of technically, I really appreciated it, but didn't really, again, kind of it's hard to connect with a film like this. I did like
Yeah,
the end. I will say that. So really,
yeah, yeah.
from the spoiler moment when he
Sure.
starts his journey. So
Yeah, yeah.
I did like that, but the thing is, I, I can't untether myself from like a lot of those were like dude bro takes. So
Yeah, I mean, that can leave a bad taste in your mouth if you're kind of forced to. You're the admin. You got to read all this. So yeah,
yeah. Yeah, there you
understood.
go. So admin problems.
Yeah.
So okay, well here we go. Number 83, The Black Coat's Daughter, 2015. I actually have this rented on VOD right now because
Oh,
somebody
okay.
told me if I'm because I was thinking about blind buying Long Legs, which I guess is
Okay.
also too late for this list. Oz
Yeah.
Perkins,
Yeah.
uh, akin to Anthony. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Another Oz
so,
Perkins.
so,
Yeah.
so
I might even prefer this to Long Legs. I think Long Legs got
okay.
a little bit overrated. Still good. I think
Mhm.
not Nicolas Cage's. I think he was a little bit too off the deep end in this one, in Long Legs, but Black Coat's
Okay.
Daughter is, yeah, I think it's an underrated little film. So
Well,
I
I probably have like 10 days to watch it, so I better get busy. But
Get
there's not many.
to it. It's
As long,
if memory serves, I think it's a pretty short film. I think it's maybe even under an hour and a half. So
oh, good,
that can
good.
help.
Yeah, well, I'll check that out, and then eventually Long Legs. So looking forward
Yeah.
to that. I always want to see Nick Cage,
Yeah.
or Nick Cage or Nick Cave.
Yeah.
So, uh, 82 is Unsane from Steven Soderbergh, post-retirement and comeback. So,
Yes,
I
one of his
haven't
10 post-retirement films.
yeah, I've seen I've seen all of his pre-retirement films, but not many of his post-retirement. I think only a couple of the big ones. So, have you seen
Okay.
this?
Yeah, I have. I think actually the only time I've seen it was in the theater, which almost might not have been the best idea because it was shot.
Right.
This one was shot on the iPhone, and I think looks worse than I would say the Sean Baker Tangerine. I think that actually looked better. I mean, I know he
Yeah,
probably shot this even for even less money and a little bit faster. It's a good film. It's interesting. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see Steven Soderbergh do kind of B movie premise. I'm really interested in
mhm.
his new film Presence, which is another horror film.
Same. Yeah.
So I could see that one potentially making the list, at least just from the little I've read about it, makes it sound really fascinating. So I'm
Yep.
always glad to see Steven Soderbergh kind of playing around in different sandboxes. He's just one of those guys where it's like it can be more interesting what he's doing than the final result. But I kind of like that he's just trying new
Mhm.
things. So
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, kudos for experimentation.
yeah.
iPhone 7, I'm trying to remember Tangerine. I wanna say it was, like, on an iPhone Pro 4.
Oh wow.
It's
Okay.
been a
Yeah.
while, it's been a
Yeah.
while. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that was I mean, those were they come out, like, very, very fast.
Yeah.
iPhone
Yeah.
7 and what, 3 years we're talking? So,
Yeah.
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 Okay, well, no surprise, 81 is Suspiria 2018. It's a remake, obviously
Yeah.
not the original. Luca Guadagnino, uh,
Guadagnino. Yeah.
so who is, remaking what was it he's remaking? It made no sense. Um,
You're
I gotta
right.
I gotta
Yeah.
Google it. It's
Yeah.
not a horror, I don't think, but it's in the news.
No, although
Yeah, it is a horror. American Psycho. He's remaking American Psycho. I'm okay with it, you know?
I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it if he does a kind of. I mean, I was okay with this Suspiria too because it's so different
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
Argento's that it's almost like okay, they're two totally separate things, and I think that there's a really great scene if you remember the dance sequence where she's doing the dance and the woman
Yeah.
in the other studio gets kind of crushed. That was just a great, you
Yeah.
know, horror scene. So I like this one.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know it.
I'm not always a Guadagnino film. I'm, this and Call Me by Your Name. I'm all for, but beyond that, I don't usually connect with him. So
Huh. Well,
kind of surprised that I liked this one as much as I did.
huh. I liked it okay, yeah. So Dillard
Yeah.
wrote it up, and he compared it to Rainer Fassbinder and Valerian Brocek. I always have trouble
Brosick,
with that
okay.
name.
Yeah.
That's not a name you hear very often. So,
No, it's
um,
not.
that actually is perfect.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
comparison. So well done,
Yeah.
Mr. Dillard. I think it's a Mr. I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
It is.
80 Coherence 2013. So do you know this one from Nick?
Yes.
He wrote the write up. Yeah, go ahead.
This one, yeah, I actually remember because I saw this one in the theater, like a small independent theater, and my wife absolutely loves this film. I think it's a very good film. It's kind of, I mean, yeah, I see they mentioned, Nick mentioned Twilight Zone. Yeah, I would say almost like Twilight Zone mixed with Primer, maybe. There's definitely a bit of that DNA. It's a low budget film, but one that sort of uses the budget in a smart way. So that a very I think it's an underrated film. Oh, I think you're muted.
I muted a cough and I did not unmute.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I'm not going to edit that. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
have a little bit of a cough. I actually have
yeah.
not seen. So 79 is Titan, 2021. Again, this is one of those that arrived on streaming, so it's on a watch list somewhere. I want to say Hulu, and
Okay.
it just keeps
Yeah,
on waiting on Raw. So in fact, I have
yeah.
a feeling Raw will make the list, but yeah, just haven't gotten
Yeah.
around to it.
Have you seen Raw?
Yes, yes, I
Oh,
love
okay.
Raw.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a feeling it'll be there too. So yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
Titan is it's a very interesting film. I think I was just mostly shocked that it won the Palm that year.
Yeah, yeah.
It's one of those films where you're like, oh, just wouldn't expect that type of body horror film. It's a very weird film, which in a good way, but
hmm Yeah, it comes up for French Extremity, which is weird that
yeah,
films coming out today are part of that conversation. But yeah,
yeah,
speaking
yeah,
of substance, oh, I love this film. 78
I
November
yeah,
2017.
yeah.
And folk horror. I think this actually I want to say I think this is on the Severin Part Two folk horror set. I could be wrong.
No,
So
no, I think you're right. I think I saw it on there, and I was like, oh, good, it'll get
it's
more eyes on it. I think it kind of not necessarily flew under the radar, but Estonian films are only going to get
right.
you know
Uh,
but yeah, no, I love this film. It's very, very creepy, very, a lot of surrealist imagery. It's definitely one of my favorite films of horror films of the last, since it came out. So
yeah, and the creature design is really
yeah,
something. It's
yeah,
unique. That's all I'll say. It's
that's
unique.
what it is. It's very, the imagery in that, it's kind of like, oh, you can safely say I haven't seen anything quite like that. So
Right, yeah, no, I still haven't
yeah,
except for
yeah,
that, so, 77, Train to Busan, so I think that's our first South Korean film,
okay,
2016. I've
yeah,
seen this, it's a
yeah,
good it's a thrilling zombie film, so
yeah,
Ed wrote this
yeah.
summary.
I think,
Um,
I would say the same. It's a solid zombie film, especially if you like, South
mhm.
Korean films. So it's entertaining.
So far we're not Matt well, we're almost 30 minutes, so we might wanna rush through a little
Oh
bit,
yeah,
but so
yeah,
far we are not throwing things. 76 is In Fabric from 2019, Peter Strickland. I've not
yeah.
seen it.
This one, yeah, I really like Peter Strickland. In Fabric was one I just couldn't.
Hmm,
A little too strange in a way that I didn't connect with. So
okay.
yeah,
Well, yeah, that's there might I don't know if it's considered a horror. There might be another of his. Okay,
yeah.
75. Your next, Adam Wingard. I actually just watched the 4K from Second Sight, which was
Oh, cool. Yeah,
it was really good.
yeah,
This film's just a lot of fun. I
yeah.
just think so. A
It's
lot of fun. Uh,
yeah. I mean, it's one of those like Hollywood horror popcorn film done
mhm.
right.
And great homage to the classic horror films too. It's not
Yeah.
too pretentious, and not that you have to be, not that that's a
No.
criticism, but yeah, no, it's fun, and
Yeah.
but I think that's really it. Just, I mean, it's purposely it tries to make the audience have fun
Mhm.
with these ritual killings, which is basically
Yeah.
classic horror. So yeah, I'm fine
Yeah.
with that. In fact, if anything, that's my first one. I'll say maybe a little too low. So
Yeah.
okay, 74. We're all going to the World's Fair from 2021. Hadn't seen this one, so yeah, what you
Yeah,
got?
well, I know you like, I saw the TV Glow, so this is
I do. Yeah.
her previous film.
Oh right, Jane
Yeah,
Schoenberg.
yeah,
Yeah.
Jane Schoenberg, yeah, her, creepy pasta. Speaking of films, and I think there'll be more coming up. This is one that feels very engaged with the online world, which is
Mm.
kind of perfect for horror, but not a lot of films necessarily use it because I think it's hard to, those films that are all shot on a desktop or a webcam. It's hard to do it in a way that kind of keeps the audience
Mhm.
into the film. But this one, it does it right. It's a very good film, especially for a debut.
Yeah, actually, I just saw the YouTube thing. You might have seen it highlighted about Slender Man. I'd heard about
Oh,
that, and
sorry, Slender Man. Yeah, yeah, not creepy pasta, but yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm kind of same diff, but not.
yeah,
So yeah, I've wanted to see this for a while. I have the blue of I saw the TV Glow. It's probably not on there. That would probably I probably know that, but
yeah, yeah.
I'll have to see this. Okay, interesting. 28 weeks later is at number 73. So this is the sequel to the Danny Boyle film. Did Danny Boyle? Oh no, Juan
No,
Carlos Fresnadillo. So actually,
yeah.
I saw this and I didn't block it out, but I don't have many memories of this. So
I,
uh,
I I don't either. I remember thinking it was okay, but it was not as good as 28 Days Later. So
yeah, so I'm sure if this is number 73, we're gonna see 28 days soon. So then
yeah,
number 72 is Thomas Jane in 1922. That's from 2017. I do like Thomas Jane as an actor a lot. I
I
don't see
I,
him as
I
much
do like
anymore.
Thomas Jane. Yeah, yeah. I remember seeing this film. I mean, it's a Stephen King adaptation, which a lot of times that
Okay.
kind of sets a ceiling. I remember Thomas Jane being good, but not too much else from the film. So
Okay. And then at 71, we have them from 2006. Again, I'm haven't seen it, so uh,
this is another uh, New French Extremity film.
oh, okay, okay.
So yeah, it definitely fit in that genre. And actually, David Moreau, one of the directors of this, just came out with a zombie film, or I guess you could call it a zombie film. It's technically they're not zombies, but
Hmm.
it's a one shot film called Mads, which I think came out on Shutter,
Okay.
which is very very entertaining. I mean, it's not a very deep film, but it has a great energy to it. So
Okay,
just
I'm gonna
throwing out
start.
another recommendation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we have, as we record this, we have 10 more days till Halloween, so
Oh
get your
yeah.
spooky, horror viewings in. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go a little faster, I think. 70
Uh,
Black Death from 2010.
I
So
haven't seen it.
again,
Yeah.
haven't seen it, okay. Okay, this is one of the social media, so this
Yeah.
preceded the other film. Six
This was
is
the other one that I had in
yeah.
my head. Yeah. And I actually do really like this film.
I liked this too.
Yeah.
Unfriended 2014. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was I thought that was they used the platform and wow, Skype. So that's already outdated,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, they used it well.
Yeah.
So okay, here we go. 68 is Nicholas Winding Refn's The Neon Demon, 2016. Again, have a feeling we'll see more from him. I think this is okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah, this one I really didn't like. I mean, I love the way it looks, but yeah,
same.
I found it completely empty. But I like some of Refn's other films, so he's a very hit or miss director. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And yeah, I might make my own 100. Yeah, it'd be very different than this one, but
yeah,
so 67 is The Hole in the Ground 2019. So yes,
yeah,
definitely some these are not traditional horrors. Definitely some indie horrors here. So again,
yeah,
another
yeah,
one I haven't seen.
yeah. I haven't seen this one either. So
All right. Come True 2021.
yes, that one I have seen. I remember it being pretty good. It's about like a sleep study, so there's some cool stuff with
Okay.
dreams and nightmares and stuff like that. But it doesn't break any new ground. Uh,
Yeah, okay. 65 Neighboring Sounds 2012. I haven't
yeah,
seen
this
this one
this one's
either.
interesting just because it's Kleber Mendoza Filho who did God, I forget what his big film is that he came out with like 3 or 4 years ago that did really well at Cannes. He's a Brazilian director.
Hmm.
This one's a really good film. But I just
Baccarat.
don't. Yes, Baccarat. I just don't think of it as horror necessarily. There's great sound design, like it has a great
Hmm.
atmosphere to it, but I would think of it more as maybe like a play on a thriller rather than horror. But
Tell you, the cover image looks very
you're right.
horrific.
That
So
yeah, that definitely looks very
maybe
fitting.
maybe they
So
just saw that. So
yeah, yeah,
speaking of Karen Kusama, 64 is the invitation, 2015. So yeah, she's
yeah,
back.
yep.
Uh, again, haven't seen it.
Oh,
So
okay, yeah. Yeah. I've
oh
seen it. I remember it being good. Mulholland Drive. Now this I will have to say something only because people might say, "Well, why is it so low?" I
yeah,
think
it's
it's
at
just low
63. Yeah.
because it's not probably because it's not technically a horror film. Because I think on the Slant's best of the aughts, I think Mulholland Drive is one. So
Yeah.
the writers definitely love this movie. I think it was just
Hmm.
okay, it's
Yeah.
horror. We'll stick more to the traditional genre films rather than
And I don't know if you're allowed to unveil this, but is it like do you each turn in separate lists?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. We would
okay.
each turn in separate lists, and then there'll be a little bit of massaging on the back end in terms of how
Right.
things play out. But yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah,
But yeah, I would say like if they said, okay, everybody, Mulholland Drive is considered horror, it would probably be one for everybody. I'm guessing,
yeah, yeah. If he
unless
went out and said yes, you can vote for this, you can, then
yeah,
yeah,
or it's the best films in this list. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, again, I get that. That makes sense. So here we go. Another famous one, number 62 is Hereditary. So that's definitely not the first Ari Aster.
yeah,
Although
yeah,
Midsummer was not on the variety list, which I thought was interesting. So it's
yeah.
this
Did they
Hereditary
have
was.
Hereditary? Well, I mean, I guess at least that was all time, so I could see not having two Ari
Hmm.
Asters in
Yeah.
all time, but
But yeah,
I have a feeling this won't be the last one that's on this list. So
yeah, I have a feeling Midsummer will be higher on this
yeah,
list, but I like Hereditary.
mhm.
It's interesting. I didn't expect it to be as divisive as it is, but some people really don't like it. So, uh, yeah, you
Yeah,
can't really
I know
talk
a lot
about
of
it too because of the
yeah,
spoilers.
I know it's interesting how like when it came out, I remember everybody was raving about
Hmm.
Toni Collette's performance, and then I feel like after that year was over, it became very divisive. Like some people think, "Oh, she's terrible," and other people are like, "No, it's amazing." So
Yeah,
it's an interesting movie that you wouldn't think would be that divisive. So
yeah, it is, I guess so. And then
yeah.
61 is Sinister from 2012. So this is another one I haven't seen, but
Yeah, I haven't seen this one either. The one thing I remember about this movie is they did some type of study of like I don't know if they used AI or something to determine like what would be the scariest movie of all time, and for some reason Sinister was number one. I remember being like,
they
okay, I don't know about that, but
says a little bit about AI, I think.
yeah, yeah,
So, well, okay, we're at number 60. One thing I'll point out, I don't think I've seen any J horror. So we're in the middle of our J horror journey. And while a lot of those were in, the
the
90s,
'90s.
there's still plenty in the 2000s. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah,
So, okay, I know that face. So
yeah.
Maniac 2012 is at number 60. So that's,
Yeah, I haven't seen this one. I've seen the original 1980 film, which is one of those, late 70s, early 80s New York films that makes you want to take a shower as soon as you're done with it in a very good
yeah,
way. But
yeah,
I'm really interested in what a remake of it would be like with Elijah Wood. 'Cause,
yeah.
yeah.
It's tough for me to buy Elijah Wood in some of these roles. I had trouble with him in it was Hooligans and now it's Green Street Hooligans. Not a
Okay.
horror,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, he was supposed to be a football hooligan. So, okay, so
Yeah.
59. We're almost to the top 50. Depraved 2019. I love that image is cool of the arm
Yeah, this
there.
is a great Larry Fessenden, I mean, he's been making indie films for, what, 40 plus years. It's really good. It's a fascinating take on the Frankenstein myth, so entertaining.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And 58 is Us from Jordan Peele, 2019. So I'm okay with this. I think it's
Yeah.
a definite horror. Definitely not the last Jordan Peele. I think the other one will probably be top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. And then interesting. Terrifier 2. So I have not seen the Terrifier franchise. I was going to start, but Amazon had like 10 minutes of ads in front of it. And I was like, it's not even worth
Worth
that.
that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
But
I haven't seen any of them. Yeah, with the third one, just hearing a lot about it, I'm kind of like, maybe I should check them out
Same.
just
I
to, you know.
clown horror movies are not not my thing, but that's be
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as there's a sense of humor about it, which I'm getting the
sounds
sense
like
that there
yeah.
is, so I could be down with it, but we'll see.
At
Yeah,
best, amoral Terrifier 2. So we'll see if Terrifier 1 shows up. So
yeah,
this one actually, this one I would say is probably too low. Number 56, The Descent,
yeah,
which actually is the cover image for the article. So
yeah.
that's, Neil Marshall. That was on the, Variety list. So I
Oh,
and
okay, yeah,
I was okay with its placement there. So I would say it's too low here.
yeah, yeah. I would
I'm
say
a big
this
fan.
should.
Yeah,
I would say, yeah, this should be like top 25, top 30 for
yeah.
sure. This is one of those films. I actually rewatched it a couple years ago, and it's still one of those films. I mean,
Mhm.
I have a little bit of claustrophobia myself, not to an
Yeah.
extreme degree, but God, that film, there's some scenes in that I cringe at much more than like, gory scenes or anything like that. So
I wonder if that's a little bit of a subjective, what scares you kinda
yeah,
horror. So
sure.
if you're not claustrophobic, th you might be like, "Okay, what's the
What's the
deal
big
here?" You know,
deal?
something
Yeah.
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 So, so at 55, we have Swallow, 2019. I haven't seen this one. Carlo Mirabella Davis.
Yeah. I remember liking this one. It's yeah, a queasy premise. I mean, she becomes obsessed with swallowing increasingly dangerous things. So it's one of those can make you a little squeamish because you're
Okay.
just like, oh, you're swallowing a thumbtack. Like that seems horrible. I wouldn't
Okay.
necessarily call it's a little bit more of a psychological thriller than a horror movie, but
Yeah.
it's a good movie.
But it says here it's never as gross as one might fear. So, yeah, that's
Exactly. Yeah.
all right, 54, Mom and Dad. That looks like Mr. Cage
Mr.
right there,
Cage. Yes, I have
uh,
somehow
gritting
not
his
seen
teeth.
this movie. I know it's one half of Neville Dean and Taylor, the guys who did the
Brian, yeah.
was the yeah, yeah. So I would imagine that this would have to be at least a fun watch just because it's Nick Cage going
Mhm.
haywire. So
Yeah, who doesn't want that? So, okay, well, this is another one I would say is maybe a little too low. So 53 is The Babadook, Jennifer Kent, which
yeah.
I think is awesome and it's been embraced as again a queer film. I don't think it was intended; it just became a queer icon. So
Yeah.
that's it's almost that's almost like a postscript to the actual horror
Oh,
movie. Um,
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Which
a
I mean
great movie.
that's kind of the great thing about horror films. I think they can be read in so many different ways if they're, well made
Yeah.
or yeah, no, I like this film. I agree. I'm surprised it's not higher than it is, but
This just feels like, there'd be a more of a consensus showing, but,
yeah,
yeah, well,
no,
I guess I say that now, we'll see what's coming. So, so another
yeah,
Mike Flanagan, definitely not the last Mike Flanagan. Well, maybe not definitely. I think there might be more. But
yeah,
Before I Wake, from 2016 is at number 52. So I love Flanagan. This is a blind spot. This is maybe the only one I haven't seen, but I'm a big fan.
yeah. I mean, I tend to like his television series maybe more
Yeah.
than the movies. But I do remember this being good. I'd say a lot of his stuff tends to be it's very good. It's very well made. Um,
Mhm.
the Haunting on Hill House though is I don't think anything will ever
Um,
top that.
Midnight Mass is really good. Haunted
Yeah,
Bly
I like
Manor.
that one too. Yeah, yeah,
All those, but Doctor Sleep and, didn't he did Oculus as well, right? So,
yeah,
okay, well, all right, we're almost to the top 50, and, speaking of, New French Extremity, we have Alejandro, Aja. It's Piranha 3D. That is not the one I expected from 2010.
yeah. I didn't expect this one either. I haven't seen it. Actually, yeah, Alexander Aja. I mean, I think he did a really good. If you want to talk about B movies, he did that movie Crawl from like 3 or 4 years
Mm,
ago, which is great. Well, maybe not great. It's a lot of fun. It's basically just alligators in a flooded basement for 90 minutes. It's kind of it does what's on the can. So maybe that's what Piranha 3D does. It's
mm.
delivers on
Well,
Joe Dante's
yeah, no,
original.
it's fun. I'll give
Yeah.
it that. That's one I have
But
seen.
yeah, having it above the Babadook and, some other picks
Right,
is a
right.
little yeah,
Now I'm done with this, Talk to Me from last year, so this is probably one of the most recent,
one of the
number
newer ones,
50,
yeah.
so we're in the top 50, so this is
Mhm.
20. In fact, I just got the 4K on a Black Friday sale, or not a Prime Day sale, so,
Oh, okay,
uh,
yeah.
yeah, but I really like this
Have you
one.
Oh, you've seen
I
it.
have.
Okay, so you have
I
seen
have,
it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, I like it well enough to buy it, and it was $10, so, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not
A good
nothing, but
a good
still.
deal. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's one I wanna watch again. I think it's a cool concept.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it holding up to a second watch. I really liked it as well. So
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So number 49 is 28 Days Later. So we already talked
there
about
we go.
this one. And actually, I think this might be a little too low in my opinions, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, that's one I
We'll see.
rewatched earlier this year. I don't remember why my Amanda mentioned something, and we're just like, oh, let's watch 28 Days Later, and it's
Mm.
one of those early DV. You know,
Yeah.
so it definitely has that early digital look to it, but I think that actually works in the film's favor, especially now that it even looks more you know out of date than it did at the time. But yeah, this is definitely, I think, one of Danny Boyle's best films. Yeah, I'm not always a huge fan of his, but
Yeah, same. This scene right here, in the screen, the opening sequence. So if you've seen the
yeah,
movie, the sequence is a great sequence. I could see
yeah,
the argument that it falls apart a little bit after that, but
yeah,
or maybe it's just tough to measure up to that scene. But
sure,
yeah, so I guess I am okay with it. Although
yeah,
now we get to A Quiet Place, so
yeah,
48, A Quiet Place. So there's possibly one sequel on this, which I would
yeah.
I would not be down with the sequel. I don't the sequel. I thought
No,
this was
no.
a
The second one was I didn't think it was particularly good. I'm hoping it's not above this one. I thought the first one was fine. Definitely a little bit overhyped. Um,
same.
I think maybe Krasinski had a lot of goodwill as an actor, and it was just
Mhm.
like, oh, he's doing something out of his wheelhouse, and then it's like, oh, it turns out to be a pretty good horror film, but it's a pretty
Yeah,
good horror film. That's
it's
it,
a pretty
Yeah.
it's another one of the COVID films.
Yes.
Just like
Yeah.
Invisible Man, I just remember it being everywhere, so
Yeah.
it felt like it was incepted into my brain, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
and this is one I didn't expect to be good, and it was pretty good, so,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
when you read the premise, you're like, "Alright, there's no sound," but it
Yeah.
actually they make it work, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, okay, I have not seen number 47, Berberian Sound Studio, 2012. That's
Oh,
another good one.
this
Okay,
is Peter Strickland. Yeah, this one I like a lot. Not a big fan of
okay.
In Fabric, but this one and Duke of Burgundy I think are both
Duke of Burgundy
fantastic.
was
This,
the
I mean,
one that
Barbarian Sound Studio is, I mean, I don't think enough films kind of pull from straight from giallo as much as they should, and this one
hmm.
definitely has a very 70s giallo feel to it. So
Oh, cool. Okay.
yeah,
Well, that's another one to check out. So,
yeah,
okay. I have a feeling I'll probably have seen most of these. Interesting. Number
yeah.
46 is Let Me In, which is 2010, and that's the adaptation of or the remake of Let the Right One In.
Let the right one in. Yeah.
I was just speaking with somebody else, and they were like, it was almost sacrilege that this was remade. And yeah, can't compare to the original, but I actually thought this was a decent remake. So I'm okay
I
with
thought
this.
I thought so too. It was, I mean, with all the bad horror remakes that we get,
Right.
it's kind of
Right.
like, oh, this one's competently done. It doesn't really betray the original one. I like it. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe 46 is a bit too high, and I hope we'll see Let the Right One In higher. So
Yeah, I have a feeling if that one's there, they're not gonna leave off,
yeah,
you are not gonna leave off,
yeah,
let that one in. So I'm
yeah,
totally down with this. Number 45 is Pontypool, from 2008, so talk radio.
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a really good, interesting concept, and I think it was executed well, so yeah.
Yeah, this is one of those sort of, tight, good concept, tight, this is how you use a low budget to your advantage. And what's his name? Yeah, Stephen McHattie is, I mean, what a
Mhm.
great performance in that. So
Yeah, and mostly one location, I use it
yeah,
well,
yeah,
so yeah.
yeah.
Okay, Suicide Club, so this is also Korean, right? Or is this
Sion Sono, yes, I believe he is South
yeah.
Korean. So
So
yeah.
2001 is number 44.
hmm
Um, I don't remember it too well, but I have seen it. So,
I saw it probably back in the 2000s at some point. I remember it being okay, but I like some of his other
yeah,
films more. So
same. Okay, this is one I don't like that all that much. So number 43 is Drag Me to Hell, 2009. So Sam Raimi, of course. I remember being kind of disappointed by this, but a lot of people loved it. So yeah,
yeah,
I
I
glad
was
it's
kind of the same. I think I saw it in theater and remember being kind of disappointed. I mean, I like, one thing I will give it is that the ending goes very hard, in a way that I wasn't expecting.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it ends on a high note, but a lot before that, I didn't find it particularly memorable. So
And I do remember I was impressed with Alison Lohman's performance, so
Yeah,
I'll give her some credit. But and
yeah,
yeah, you can tell just by this shot, very physical acting. So
yeah,
yeah. So okay. Oh, speaking of Flanagan, we have Oculus. Is Flanagan? I think it is. Yeah, it is.
it is.
So
Okay.
that's at 42 is Oculus, which again I can get down with. I don't I don't love it. I agree. I like his TV stuff even more than this,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I
I'm
haven't
okay
yeah,
with
I
it.
haven't seen yeah, this is one I haven't seen. I haven't seen a lot of his earlier film work, so there's
Okay.
definitely this is one I'd be willing to check out. So,
I'd recommend it. It's
yeah.
again kind of an interesting concept,
Okay.
unique concept. Okay, this one I have not seen it, but 41 is the sadness. So imagine a remake of 20 Days Later by Takashi Miike. So
Yeah,
Rob
that
Zaba's. I haven't seen it.
yeah, I mean I've seen it. It's it's very bloody. It's
Mhm.
fun, but there's not much to it. Um
Hmm.
so yeah, I don't have too much to say.
Again, yeah, we're at 41. I
Yeah.
still don't know. So they just name dropped Miike. So, but there's no.
Yeah.
All right, and here we go. Top 40. So Casey Kasem, Midsummer, 2019.
Yeah.
So this is, I think, again, too low in my opinion. But this one is
Yeah.
divisive. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah,
this one yeah, I know. I mean, I remember when this came out, it was definitely one that I feel like half the people at Slant had it on their end of year list, and the other half just flat out didn't like it. Like it was divisive. I
yeah.
feel like everywhere. I like it. It's a good film. I haven't seen the director's cut yet, so
I've seen
I might
this
check it out.
4 times already.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah,
Okay.
and that
Is
includes
is the is the director's cut worth the?
oh
Okay.
yeah.
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 Okay.
Well, and not to get off track, but
No.
the
No.
first cut gives some exposition that I think really, really helps with the relationship dynamic to
Okay.
sell the ending. So so
Okay.
yeah, I would highly recommend. I bought the that special edition from A24. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Cool.
4K.
I'll
Okay,
check that out.
Skinkamarink. Did I say that right? It's number 39. Uh
Skinamarink, but yeah,
Skinamarink,
this
sorry, Skink.
yeah,
Yeah.
speaking of divisive films, yeah, this was definitely a love it or hate it one. I This is one where I appreciate you trying to,
Mhm.
bring Chantel Akerman into the horror genre, but it made it kind of a tedious watch, especially it was like an hour and 40 minutes. And it's like if you would have done, 70, 75 minutes, I don't know if I would have
Mhm.
liked it, but I think that would have been more, a little more
Yeah,
fitting for what it's
th
doing.
th this movie feels like it's become more of a punchline than a movie,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I get it though. It's
Mhm.
in pop culture, it's a big so okay. I haven't seen this number 38, Amer, Amer from 2009.
Yeah, this one's another under the radar one. Yeah, I mean they mentioned it in there, the Giallo. This is another one where
Hmm.
it pretty much pulling straight from the
Super
Giallo
Jolly.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's three different stories, but I mean it's all the same directors. So yeah, if you like Giallo films, throw this on your watch list. So yeah,
Okay, still okay, another South Korean movie.
yeah,
Interesting. Memories of Murder, 2004. So Bong Joon-ho. I think this is if this is horror, this is another one. I think it's top 10. I'm wondering if maybe some people more procedural thriller
yeah.
kind of.
I have a feeling this is kind of like the Mulholland Drive of like, well, half the
Yeah,
people included it as horror, and other people were like, well, it's not. I wouldn't have listed it as horror, but
I
it's a
wouldn't
great
either.
film. It's a great film, so
Yeah, but we just looked at Cure by Kiyoshi Kurosawa, which is not eligible. It's from
right.
'98. Big influence on this film,
Oh
but
sure,
that
yeah.
one I feel is very, very horror. So yeah,
Oh
so
yeah,
it's
Cure,
great.
definitely, yeah, yeah.
Oh, great. Boy, there's a lot of films here.
The South
So,
Korean films are coming now that you mentioned it. Yeah.
well, the Japanese still have it. So, A Tale
Oh,
of
the
Two
Japanese, yeah,
Sisters.
yeah.
I love this film. I actually
Okay,
own
yeah.
some. I think it was Arrow. I think so. This is 2003, and I saw it at the time it came out. It's number
Okay,
36.
yeah,
So, yeah, have you seen this?
yeah. I have not for a while, but yeah, I remember really liking it.
Same, not for a while. I due to revisit, but it's one of those that I
Okay,
liked it so much the first time that I remember it well. So yeah, that
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, it's only been 20 years, but that's a long time
yeah,
for
yeah.
I don't know how many films have we seen in that time.
In
So
that time, yeah, yeah.
so number 35 is Demon, 2015. So Yeah, I actually haven't seen this one either. It seems like Bowen's I'm I'm drawing a blank on. So, Bowen, you have very,
Yeah, Chuck
but
Bowen is
Chuck Bowen,
he
okay.
is yeah. So I'm sure he covered a lot of these. So yeah, this is another. I do remember seeing this one. Yeah, it's very very unusual. It is. I would say yeah, it is technically a horror film, although not particularly scary. But it has some creepy
Mm,
scenes to it.
okay.
I don't remember too much about it, but
All right, so now we're at, Brandon Cronenberg, okay. So, Possessor from number 34, that's another 2020 film. So,
yeah.
uh, I I think I saw it, but I don't have many didn't make an impression. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember really liking it when it came out. Some of the imagery has stuck with me. I don't remember too much beyond that though.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
it
same.
seems a little high, but
Seems a little high, yeah. I'm okay with this. Number 33 is Blade 2, 2002. One of the great examples of a sequel working. So
yeah.
GDT is a pro, obviously. So,
I have, yeah, I will cop to. I have somehow not seen either Blade or Blade 2, which I don't
wow.
know how because they both came out at an age when I was seeing a lot of movies. And so, yeah, I would definitely check them out. I know they're supposed to be fun, and a lot of people love Blade 2. So,
Blade 2 is fun. I would recommend them. Yeah. And Blade's about to be remade. I want to say it's coming out later this year. So, yeah.
yeah, okay.
Okay. 32 is Shaun of the Dead. So, Edgar Wright, 2004. I think everybody we know has seen it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it's actually not top 10. This one,
Yeah,
because it
I mean,
seems
I'll be
like
interested to see if there's any horror comedies above it because I can't think of
great.
any bigger horror comedies than that one from,
Mhm.
since 2000.
Thing with this is the horror comedy, like it really does nail down the horror. Like it
Yeah.
works. It work with that without the comedy. I think
Oh
so.
yeah, it works as a zombie film, which is
Yeah.
that's what's so good about it.
So, all right, found footage. So number 31. Okay, still no J horror.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just Slant. What's going on? No J
Yeah.
horror.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you say this title. So REC
Wreck.
with the brackets. Yeah. So
Yeah.
staple found footage film. So from 2007. Again, I saw it. I kind of forgot it. This one too.
This one, I actually rewatched it within the last few years, and it holds up. I think it's actually one of the more genuinely scary found footage films.
Okay. Well, maybe I need to take a look again. It's one that gets thrown out, around a lot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty popular. So
yeah.
okay.
Single location, low budget. It makes good use of that. So yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not down with some of these. So number 30 is Lords of Salem from 2012.
Oh, I like
Number
yeah, I like this one a lot.
do you?
I
Okay.
yeah, yeah, but Rob Zombie is very divisive. I'm not a big fan. I don't like House of Thousand Corpses. So
I
um,
didn't like that one after that. I actually loved the one after that. Maybe it'll appear on the list. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, no, I okay. Gonna shut up. Oh, here's the sequel to Unfriended. So that's interesting. Actually, I haven't seen the sequel. I didn't really think it was worth watching, but or didn't
Yeah,
know. But
it's
number
I mean
29.
I yeah, it's very different. Well, I shouldn't say it's very different because it's the same concept, but the
Right.
story is very very different. I mean, because you're bringing in the dark web, it's not just 16s and their drama. I think it's as good as the original. So I actually have no problem with this being as high as it is. It's sort of doesn't get talked about as much as I think it should.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, check it out. The Rob Zombie was Devil's Rejects, which is kind of a
I like that. Yeah, I like that one. I might like that one more than Lords of Salem too. Yeah, but I do like that one a lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, number 28, we have Robert Eggers back on the list with The Witch, 2015. So interesting. I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
big
I
film.
mean,
Huge film
yeah.
for A24.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was one of their first big
Mhm.
successes. Yeah.
Breakout. Yeah. So okay, Inside number
Yeah.
27. So this is uh, well, again
New
they
new
they reference Mickey's odd.
Miike. Yeah. I mean, it's Meek. It definitely has. I mean, it's such a bloody film. It's just
Mhm.
it's such a disturbing film. I find it. I mean, and I can usually take a lot of body horror, but that one is one where it's like, ooh, that really pushed the limit. Uh, but I think in a good way. Yeah.
Okay, well, like I said, I am having a lot of problems with this. It's more the international, even New French Extremity. I don't think
Yeah,
there's a lot of omissions here. So
yeah,
26 Session 9, 2001.
yeah,
If anything, I think this is more, no pun intended, slanted towards American indies. So
yeah,
yeah, I don't know if you agree. So
yeah.
uh,
No, I would agree so far. Yeah.
25 is The Guest, another Adam Wingard. I can't get on board with this at all. It's fine.
I
It's fine.
I and it's probably because didn't watch this film until maybe 2 or 3 years ago. It's so overhyped. I'm like, people are acting like, and I like Dan Stevens, but like
Same.
people I
Yeah.
think are acting like he's the second coming, and I'm like, okay, he's a good actor, but yeah, this movie just didn't do much for me. Not a bad movie, but certainly not deserving of all the love that it gets. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree. This one's too high.
If I were to put this on a list, it would be, okay, I haven't seen enough horror films. I haven't seen 100 horror films in the 2000s.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
it's not that bad,
yeah,
but sometimes even bad films are good. This one I was kind of like, well, what's the point? I
yeah,
think,
yeah,
okay, so okay, this one I'm down with. Number 24 is Bug. So
yeah,
her Billy Friedkin,
yeah,
one of the legends, going out and I mean, going out. This is 2006. Not like he made this movie
yeah.
and then flipped off the world and
No, but
jumped
he, I
in.
don't. Yeah, he probably didn't do too many movies after this. I mean, probably a few, but
He did. I think this was probably his last really good work. Oh, is that nudity? I guess it's probably okay to show,
oh
but
yeah,
there is nudity in nude Ashley Judd in the movie. But
oh yeah,
I think it's a great example of tinfoil hat. Like it's literally tinfoil everything you can see in the room. So
yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just the way that you see how that sort of conditioning and mind warping plays out almost in real. I don't remember if it's fully in real time, but I feel like it might be close to it, or maybe set
Yeah.
in one night. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I remember really liking that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in one night. Yeah. So,
Okay.
what do we have here? The whale. So, okay, is this our first Japanese versus Korean?
I think this is another Korean one. Yeah.
It is Korean. The Wailing, number 23, 2016. Yeah. So that's the same actor that's in Memories of Murder.
Oh,
So I
Memories
should
of
look.
Murder. That's right. I
Yeah.
did not make that connection until I looked and I'm like, oh yeah, that is him. So
At first, I was like, that looks like a Korean actor, but
yeah.
okay, yeah. So, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I know this got a lot of love, especially on Letterboxd, and some critics really liked it. I thought it was good, but I think it was also a little bit, maybe a little bit self-important for what it
Mhm.
amounted to. So
Okay, so Mandy 2018. I'm fine with this. Speaking of Nick Cage going crazy, probably not many movies that are better at Nick Cage going crazy. And I know that's a
yeah,
long
yeah,
list, but
it's a
I do
long list.
enjoy this.
This is yeah, it's such a ridiculous, entertaining film. Yeah, I can't fault it for being this high.
Exactly. Yeah. So, House of the Devil. So this is the first Ty West movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not a big Ty West fan, but this one I do like. I like it probably more than any of the X Pearl Maxine films. Which
Yeah,
I know a lot of people love those, but
I like X. X is good.
yeah. That was the best of the three, I'd say. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. Speaking of which, okay, we have number 20, The Strangers. Again, still not a Japanese film on the list. We're talking about the 20th century of horror or 21st century of horror. So, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, yeah. Okay. I'm just going to keep going until there's. All
yeah,
right. I'm fine with this. So, speaking of the substance, number 19 is Revenge. Love this
yeah,
movie.
yeah,
Coralie Farge. So, New French Extremity. All right. I'm somewhat. I'll turn my haterade off.
yeah, yeah.
but
Well, at
but I
least
do love
you
this
like
movie.
this one, so
I recently revisited this too. Oh, after The
Okay.
Substance, just because I love The Substance so much,
Oh, sure.
and I
Yeah,
love
yeah,
I really enjoyed this when it came out, and I think
yeah. I did too. Yeah,
it was better on a rewatch even because it just you get caught up into the mythology she creates about
yeah, yeah,
this revenge tale. So yeah, again, kind of unique. So okay, The Outwaters is number 18. So I haven't seen this. Can't really
yeah.
speak
This
on it.
is one. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised it's this high, but yeah, this is definitely one. I think even though it's just last year, yeah, didn't kind of flew under the radar. Really good, um, you know, found footage film. it along with Wreck, I'd say it's sort of peak of that genre in the last 10-20 years. So
Interested. Okay, well, we finally have a Japanese film,
yeah,
Visitor Q from 2001, by none other than Takashi Miike. So,
Miike, yeah.
uh,
The tricky thing about picking having Miike on the top 100 is he's made so many films, so
yeah,
each person could have voted for a different one. So I'm kind of surprised Visitor Q is the one. I actually haven't seen it, but I know it's, even by his standards, that and Ichi the
yeah.
Killer are kind of the two, like, oh, this is kind of stomach churning. So
So Isha the Killer is, I want to say 99 or 98. So yeah,
yeah, that wouldn't make the
um,
cut, but yeah,
wouldn't make the cut. Yeah, so we'll see if there's any more. But okay,
yeah.
this is interesting. Number 16 is Inland Empire, which I would agree is more horror than, or if there's a question of is this horror, I would say more answers of yes for this than Mulholland Drive. But
Agree.
I would not say it's as good a movie. But yeah, no, I'm fine with it being here.
I would agree. Yeah, I mean, I love it, but yeah, it's I don't put it on the same plane as Mulholland Drive, but definitely more of a horror film. There are some sequences in that still kind of scare the shit out of me. So
And here, okay, and number
uh,
15 is The Devil's Rejects. So okay, yeah, I guess I mean, like again, a lot of the I think I lean more international horror film is
yeah,
compared to this. So I think all of these are a little too high just because I think there should be others higher, but I'm
yeah,
okay with this.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm
again,
surprised it's as high as it is, but I know Slant has always kind of had it in the bag for Rob Zombie, so he's always had his fans. So
okay.
I'm not shocked that it's this high.
So another Korean, boy, slams in the bag for the Koreans too. Um,
Yeah.
that sounds like a slur.
Yeah, I know.
I
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not. I love Korean film,
Yeah,
South
yeah,
Korean film that is, and of course Bong Joon-ho. So this is the
yeah.
second film of his. So The Host, 2006, more of a monster movie, and
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
would
think
almost
this
say,
is
yeah,
actually,
more yeah, sci-fi monster movie, which, I guess can kind of also fit in the horror movie too, but
yeah, maybe
great movie.
Ukja is on here, which is like hot dog horror.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, horror for meat eaters, yeah.
exactly, I would not say this is a great movie, but I do know a lot of people love it. Maybe I need to see it again. Okay,
Which
well,
one?
so
Climax or The Host?
The Host, yeah. So number 13 is
Oh, no.
Climb.
Okay.
Gasper Noé. I actually haven't seen this. I think I'm allergic to so I'm talking about international cinema and
International
French,
films, yeah.
new French. And I haven't seen the Gasper Noé. So yeah, I haven't seen this, but that's because I've seen so many Gasper Noé films that I know what I'm in for. So
Yeah, I mean, I like some Gaspar Noé. Yeah, this one, I mean, it's fun, but it's exactly what you expect from Gaspar Noé, with a
which
lot
is
of zooming, upside down cameras, and
oh yeah. See, you're not you're not
long
helping.
shots and all that. Yeah, yeah, no.
Okay, we have
Oh,
Korean film, but
another
this is
another Korean film. So
a great one. I Saw the
yeah,
Devil is for 12, so we're
yeah.
getting close to the
Yeah,
top
so I
10.
think there have been a decent amount of international films, for at least French and Korean. But yeah, I am surprised that there have been very few, if any, Japanese films. That
Yeah,
is a
this is
little
like
surprising.
I want to say this is like the 10th Korean film, and yeah, there's
Yeah,
but
and this one, shockingly, that's one I haven't seen, but that's probably one of the bigger horror films of
oh
the
yeah,
last 15-20 years that I haven't seen. So yeah,
I
you
highly
you
recommend
like
this one.
it?
I'm
Okay,
actually
yeah,
oh very much so. Yeah,
yeah.
in fact
I've
I'm
heard
very
great
happy with
things.
where
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So in fact I would nothing against Get Out, which is number 11, but I would
Yeah.
put this above Get Out.
Above Get Out. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do love Get Out. I'm actually surprised
Yeah.
this is low, but I'm okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what's in the top 10, but yeah,
Yeah.
number 11. Okay, so we are okay. I can get into Martyrs at 2008. Uh, not an easy one, but
No. This is yeah. This one I would say is as hard of a watch as
Mhm.
um what's the one with the pregnant Beatrice doll? I don't remember what it's called. The other French extremity one, where she's
Oh,
having the baby and the woman wants to cut the baby out of her stomach.
oh,
Anyway,
okay, yeah.
I would
I'm
say
not
this is as difficult a watch as that. Yeah.
okay, yeah, not quite, it's not French, but not quite a Serbian film, but in that direction. So, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, here we have Raw as number 9. So yeah, more later New French Extremity, and I guess
Yeah,
Revenge would also qualify or
yeah,
in that category. So I'm okay with 9. Although they
yeah,
mentioned Ginger Snaps was 90s. Yeah.
yeah. I think it was
Or was it?
99. So yeah.
Okay, interesting. Speaking of GDT, The Devil's Backbone, 2001. I really like this film. It's less horror. It's more gothic ghost kind of horror. I mean, like
Yeah,
mystery.
yeah. I
That's
would say
me.
less. It's less horror than maybe. Well, I mean, Pan's Labyrinth. I don't know if that's necessarily
Mhm.
horror either, but I'd say it's yeah, it's kind of about the same. So great, yeah, good film. But yeah, I'm surprised it's top 10.
Yeah, same. So, number 7 is Antichrist. This is one I actually I'm a huge fan of this film, which I know
Oh,
not a lot
oh,
of people
great.
are. I love the style. Oh,
I,
actually,
I
I
yeah. No,
no?
I love this. This is yeah, this is probably mm, other than Dogville, I'd say this is my favorite Lars von Trier. I think it's great, and it's certainly an easier. Well, I shouldn't say an easier rewatch, but Dogville's not
It's
exactly an
quicker.
easy rewatch either. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
there's a scene in Antichrist. I mean, if anyone's like, oh, it's not really horror, there's definitely the scene late in the movie where it's like, oh, that definitely makes you cringe.
Yeah, and the thing is, I love the way he shoots the slow-mo.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a master. I mean,
it's a yeah. I
you
mean,
can
it's a beautifully shot film. It's kind of
beautiful, yeah.
interesting because you see some of his films or parts of some of his films where it's like he's using a lot of handheld and it can almost look a little bit sloppy. And it's like he's clearly
Yeah,
doing that intentionally because if he wanted to make a film, you know what I mean? It's like to
right,
make a film
right.
as good as great looking as Antichrist, it's he definitely has
Yeah.
the skill. So
I thought that was a minority opinion of, me loving Antichrist, but, I also
no, no,
think
I love it
the
too. Yeah.
relationship is even though as if you've seen it, you know, if you know, you know,
Hmm.
but I really love how they handled the relationship in that
And
movie,
I would say probably maybe career best performances for both of them.
Mm.
I mean, Willem Dafoe's been great in
Yeah.
so many movies, but that one is definitely up there.
Yeah, no lobsters, but, it's okay. Uh,
Yeah.
so, okay, number 6 is Wolf Creek, interesting, 2005. So I actually like this movie a lot. It's another it seems like they like extreme horror, like
Yeah, yeah, Slant. They've always kind of, I feel like, been championing the more extreme horror. So I'm not surprised. I know this had a lot of hype, a lot of love.
Mhm.
At least in the 2000s. Maybe 2010s. But I'm surprised to see it this high, even. But it's a good film. So
Same. I agree. This was like around the Eli Roth kind of
yeah,
movement, so this was kind of lumped in another, yeah, extreme
but
horror. They're
better than Eli Roth, though. I
better
mean,
than Eli.
yeah,
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 sure.
yeah.
Um, so okay, here we go. So let the right one
Let
in
the
is
right
number
one in. Okay.
5,
Yeah.
2008. I'm fine with that. I think it's
Yeah.
a masterpiece. So yeah.
Yeah. That's a great film. Yeah.
All right, Halloween 2. Okay, you said they like Rob Zombie.
Now,
Um,
yeah, this one I know. Yeah, this Ed did write the thing for this. I know this is one of Ed's favorite horror films, so I'm not
okay.
surprised to see this this high. I like it a lot. I think it's if you've seen Rob Zombie's Halloween and thought, oh,
Hmm.
I agree. The first one's not that great. The second one is actually really good. Not number 4 of the 21st century, but I think it's a very good horror film.
No offense, Ed, but yeah, not. I mean, I'll give it another.
Yeah.
I do like to rewatch the series, even though it's not
Yeah.
great. Did that with
Yeah. Yeah.
Friday 13th.
Okay.
Um, yeah, Friday the 13th. Freddy.
Halloween. And then, yeah.
Nightmare
Yeah. We're
Before
actually, yeah, I've
Christmas.
actually been doing the Nightmare on Elm Streets. I'm only 3 in, but it's been fun going through those again. Yeah.
Okay, well, Trouble Every Day, 2001. So I'm happy with this one. Uh,
Yeah. Oh, so
but
you are okay. Okay. Cause I know you have your issues with New French Extremity. So
no,
I
no,
think this is,
I'm a huge
yeah.
fan. I'm sorry. I
Oh, you
meant.
are. Oh, okay.
Oh
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
yeah,
see. Okay.
yeah. And I'm a
I mean,
huge fan
I
of.
know you like Claire Denis. So, oh, okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
loved any. So yeah,
Yeah.
okay, number 3. Number 2, is Glazer's Under the Skin, 2013. So
Yeah. I love
I'm
it.
okay with this.
Would probably be my number 1 pick. I mean, I know you could say
Oh,
it's
okay.
maybe more sci-fi than horror, but yeah, I love this film. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah, no, I'd call it horror.
Yeah.
Number 1. Okay, yeah, I did know this. Okay. Slant, you are redeemed. I did know
Redeemed.
this. So,
I,
yeah,
I I knew this too. I just kept my mouth shut. I mean, I knew you'd figure it would come up at some point, but yeah,
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 I did hear about this last week of all
yeah,
of all
yeah.
but, okay, first I'm gonna search for you. So, okay, you wrote 2 no, you only wrote 1 synopsis.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, I
Only
only
Hounds
wrote
of
one of
Love.
those ones. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Um, and
Yeah, I
I'm
think I think a
gonna
lot of them he probably pulled from the original reviews. So,
gotcha.
for some of the other lists, we'll write original stuff, but for this one, I think it
So,
was all stuff we'd seen. Yeah,
I'm just looking at we did have okay, Suicide Club. Okay, we did had that one.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Sion Sono is that's right. He is Japanese, not Korean. If I said that, yeah,
okay, so I just Googled, the Korean or Japanese horror. So, okay,
okay.
we have Pulse. We don't have any of the Grudges, which I'm okay with. We don't have any.
I don't like The Grudge. Yeah,
I actually just rewatched it for our journey, so, we'll
yeah.
get into that.
Okay, yeah.
So but I really like the Ring remake, and the original Dark Water. So I'm surprised that
Yeah,
was
I
missed.
actually I like yeah, the Ring remake is good. And I think the original Ring is 99, but
Mhm.
the Verbinski film was eligible. So yeah, I'm surprised that didn't
Yeah.
crack even the bottom of the list. So yeah.
I like Three Extremes, although I wanna say that's Korean, isn't it? Or maybe that was a mixture, I forget. That's another anthology film.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. Well, that's no
Three
because Miike did one of those, so it's gotta be I think it is Japanese, yeah.
that's right, yeah. So The Host, yeah. So Battle Royale, yeah, no, yeah, not as many as the '90s. I think
Yeah.
for sure Ringu would be on the
Yeah,
list,
I think there'd
and
be definitely be more horror in the 90s. But yeah, I guess a lot of Kurosawa's after Pulse maybe
mhm,
aren't classified as true horror, but I mean he made a lot of great
right,
films since then. So,
yeah.
but, yeah,
But, yeah, anyway, so this was fun.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It was.
as I expected, I don't quite agree with most of the list, but
Yeah,
that's everybody's response. Make your own is what, Ed and friends would
yeah,
say.
pretty
Um,
much. So yeah. No, I
and
mean
I
even like I
won't
said, even I look at that list and I'm like, okay, yeah, there are some crazy choices, or some where you're like, how could that possibly be in the top 20? And you didn't include, dot dot dot. So,
yeah.
but
Well,
I think that's also just the fun of lists in general, is that
yeah.
it makes you kind of consider all of your opinions and like, oh, that's one I haven't seen. That's one I've
Mhm.
seen and kind of hated, but now I'm kind of interested in seeing it again.
Oh, how Tension wasn't on there, and Fat Girl wasn't on there? Wow, okay, yeah, I'll have to
Well,
think of
Fat
in my
Girl,
head.
Fat Girl, I wouldn't consider a horror movie though. Would you really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, okay. I haven't
Um,
seen it in a long time. I mean, I really like it, but
no Bruno
that one would.
Dumont. Yeah, so, okay. Alright, challenge accepted. I'm gonna make, my list, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna let Slant record a video, write an article, and destroy
Yeah.
it.
Trash it. All these
This guy
choices.
hates American Indie and Rob
Yeah,
Zombie.
yeah,
Actually, Rob Zombie will be on it.
yeah,
But anyway, this was a lot of fun, and,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, great talking to you. Do you
Yeah,
wanna
great talking to you too.
just say where people can find you real quick?
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously at Slant Magazine, you can find new stuff. I'm in the film and Blu-ray section, and then on Letterbox DSmith724, I will mostly just post my ratings and links to my reviews and stuff like that. But you can find me there too.
Awesome. Well, thanks. This was, again, a lot of fun. So,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
talk to you very, very soon. So take
Okay,
care.
awesome. Sounds good.